Good morning. It is very, very cold. I'm even wearing a winter coat for a change. Yes, I know it's not a bathrobe. I decided since it's going to be very cold, I should go ahead and get a coat. And my mother was kind enough to give me this old one of hers, so it's warm. To give you an idea of how cold it is, the thermometer outside seemed to say 0, but it was frosted over and I couldn't tell. And there's frost on everything, and even though the sun's been up for like an hour, so it is extremely, extremely cold, and there's a cold, wet wind today. So it's even a little too cold for Yizz to be out today. But I wanted to make a morning walk video. I can take my blast shield up now that we're walking away from the sun there. It is a beautiful morning despite being cold. I like the cold anyway, so I feel good this morning. And I wanted to talk to you guys about the cold and the winter and what that means sort of spiritually and metaphorically for us. For those of us who care about building anything real for Western people, whether you're invested in maybe one day rekindling the spirit of empire, or you want to build something completely new, or you just want to survive the hard times. Surviving the long winter is what made Europeans what we are. And if you are unwilling to give up a little comfort to invest into the future of the long winter, then you're probably not going to make it through the storm. You're not going to make it through the winter. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, maybe I shouldn't turn back towards the sun, but we're going to anyway. What do I mean by that when I say that? Well, people in Europe right now, people especially on the island of Albion that I speak to, they're already having a very cold, hard winter. They are faced with either being very cold and having to live their days in gloves and coats and under piles of blankets, or they're being extorted by the failing government and the failing economy of the United Kingdom to spend thousands of pounds of money that they don't have on a heating bill. So they are having to give up stuff because they don't have it. They're either going to have to exhaust themselves and spend their life savings paying for a heating bill, or they're just going to have to be fucking cold all winter. So that got me thinking about a video for today. And there's a very noisy garbage truck coming, so I'm going to have to cut this out. And there she goes. Man, those things are loud. Anyway, I don't even remember where I was. That was so loud and it took so long. Anyway, I just talked about the UK, the government. Okay, let me go back to where I was then. If people in the modern era are starting to face problems like this is not something that we've really had to contend with for quite some time. We have failing governments led by a mix of evil and despicably incompetent people. We have those that seek dominion who are very glad and ready to have our children freeze to death during the winter or starve to death or be taken from us in other ways. So my message to everyone about this kind of thing today is you have to be ready to give something up to survive, or you won't. What will you give up? Will you give up comfort, luxury, or will you wait until you're faced with an even darker choice? Giving up something dear to you, giving up your home, giving up your left arm, giving up your child. We have to get our minds into a healthy framework of survival and preparation, because that's what made our people what we are in the long ago when we survived the hard winters of the Northlands. And I think that we have to get into that mindset with all that we do going forward from here. We have to realize things are going to be dark and difficult and hard. We are not going to have the luxuries that the privileged people had during the 1900s. Those things are gone, and they're not coming back unless we build them and can afford them at a later date. Even if everything starts going well for us politically, on the world stage economically, things are very bad for us. We're going to have to contend with that for years to come. And don't even get me started on the house of cards of fiat currency. That can't last either. We have to prepare. We have to be smart. If you don't have things put away, if you don't have preparations made, if you're not thinking about how you can have food and money and shelter and the things that you have to have just to get around your daily life when things get a lot harder than they are now, well, then you might not make it when things get harder. And so the clever squirrel saves extra nuts or some shit. I don't have any good Appalachian euphemisms. If I did, I would say one here, but I don't really think there's a good one for this. So I don't know. I just rolled on the Appalachian hillbilly chart, and that's what came out. Anyway, that's what I had to say today. It's cold. I'm going to get a move on back towards the house here. So I still have a little ways to go before I get to Sleepy Hollow. But I'm going to just enjoy the cold morning. And I hope you guys all do too. I just hope that we survive this winter, because it's probably going to be one of the worst ones we've faced yet, like as a people together. Because, man, I talk to a lot of people online that live all across Europe, and it's not looking very good. So keep heart, pray if you pray, sing if you sing, and remember, they can't take from us what's in here. Only we can choose to let that flame go out. So keep that flame lit and stay warm through this hard winter that's coming. I love you guys and hope you have a blessed week. I'll see you next Monday.